What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news, and there are some potentially huge changes coming in the world of professional wrestling. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at your 23rd October 2019 news, including Raw's ratings creeping up, a debut Dazzles Vince McMahon, does Fox have buyer's remorse over SmackDown, a quick AEW Dynamite Lineup, and NXT preview, AEW's ratings reaction, the Big Show's advice for the WWE Universe, more on WWE banning AEW merchandise at shows, and CM Punk being interested in a wrestling return. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos like this. But let's waste no further time and get into the first story as Raw's ratings creep up. Although this Monday night's Raw didn't feature anything particularly exciting other than its main event, the show did manage a slight rise in the ratings. PW Insider's Dave Shearer had some details on the ratings for the 21st October show. He mentioned the 21st October edition of Raw brought in 2.342 million overnight viewers, up from last week's 2.279 million overnight viewers. They were aided by a dog of a game on Monday Night Football, which dropped down too. The NFL did 10.839 million overnight viewers, and also no Major League Baseball to compete against. As you can see from the figures, this is the best that Raw has done over the last 3 weeks. There was a drop as usual in the third hour, but it wasn't as significant as the 14th October edition. Dave Meltzer had some interesting observations on the ratings as well, saying, Raw, with both a lower rated NFL game and no baseball playoff competition, grew 3% from last week, averaging 2.34 million viewers. It also didn't have the bad first to third hour drop at the level of last week. The first to third hour drop of the 12% is in the normal range as compared to the 21% drop last week, which was the 8th largest in history. Ironically, the show with the second highest rating on Monday was 911, the Fox drama starring former Raw superstar Ronda Rousey. Next up, a debut Dazzles Vince McMahon. As fans have likely heard, Vince McMahon doesn't pay much if any attention to NXT stars until they make the jump to the main roster. While we don't know if the situation is the same with 205 Live, we do know that one new Raw superstar is said to have made quite the impression on Mr. McMahon. Recently, Pro Sports Extra's Brad Shepard tweeted, according to a source in WWE, Vince McMahon is high on Humberto Carrillo after his match on Raw last night. The source indicated that Vince McMahon believes Humberto Carrillo, in particular with his Power Rangers-like ring gear, could get over strong with children. The same source indicated that Seth Rollins gave Humberto Carrillo huge props after the match, along with quite a few others. Next up, does Fox have buyer's remorse over SmackDown? With Friday Night SmackDown's ratings dropping significantly in just 2 weeks, wrestling fans can't help but wonder how SmackDown's new home feels about the expensive deal they made to air the Blue brand. According to Fightful.com's Patreon page, things might not be as bad as you might think. One source at Fox said that the company is happy with WWE and how things have gone so far. Well, if they're impressed with 2-point-something million ratings, they must have fainted when they got those first week ratings when The Rock returned with 4 million. It's safe to say that until anything major happens, Fox probably won't see that reoccurring. Next up, an AEW Dynamite Lineup. AEW Dynamite's lineup for the 23rd October show on TNT will feature a match between Jon Moxley and Pac, 2 AEW Tag Team Tournament semi-finals matches between Private Party and the Lucha Brothers and SCU vs the Dark Order, also the Young Bucks vs Best Friends, and the Dynamite debut of Joey Janela vs Jack Evans. Will this be enough to stop Dynamite's ratings decline? Is it enough to defeat NXT for the 4th week in a row? Well, let's see what they've got. As over on USA Network, the Yellow brand is serving up a triple threat for the North American Championship as Roderick Strong defends the title against Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic, while Rhea Ripley battles Bianca Belair in their mutual quest for the NXT Women's Championship. Finn Balor will also be appearing on the show, but again, probably not wrestling. Both shows seem stacked with matches, so it'll be interesting to see who comes out the victor. Be sure to tune in after both shows, as we look at the Wednesday Night War in detail and see who won Week 4. But speaking of AEW, what kind of reaction are they getting to their ratings? In a recent discussion with TV Insider, AEW Executive Vice President Matt Jackson discussed the show's Nielsen numbers. I heard that expectations were possibly in the 400 or 500,000 range. The fact we crossed 1 million was great. I think opening we expected a big number. I don't know if we expected the number we got in 1.4. Of course, a week or two after there will always be a drop. We expected that. If we can keep around 1 million, we'd be thrilled. That would be amazing. We're such a brand new thing for them. The next week is tough with Major League Baseball, NBA coming up. We understand that. This whole thing is whirlwind. We are thrilled right now, and of course, you think about the other wrestling playing that night, and you want to best them. And the fact we are is great. We are also not taking that for granted because they have a great show too. Right now, we have one step foot forward and think about our brand, our television show, and making it the best we can make it. AEW's ratings drop led to Vince Russo commenting that AEW would have to re-examine its product in 3 months as it doesn't have mass appeal. However, AEW's Cody Rhodes strongly disagreed, defending AEW on Twitter saying, "We are happy and our partner is happy. We overshot projections and set a record for a WM debut. This is an era of cord cutting, simulcast and DVR bumps. We are proud of how incredible the numbers have been and know we need to work hard now more than ever. Y'all can untag me, friend. VR had great success in the 90s. None of this is really applicable to our brand today and this product. As fun as it is to keep moving the goalpost, we keep scoring. Fans demanded this alternative and we were the lucky ones able to deliver it. The only test of things will be time as the ratings determine AEW's success or failure." However, 2 questions immediately come to mind. Number 1, how does Vince Russo have a podcast? And number 2, who actually listens to it? Anyway, moving on. The Big Show has some advice for the WWE Universe. The Big Show recently spoke with TMZ and had this to say when the topic of fans critiquing WWE television came up. "You're not going to make everyone happy. Some people say you're rushing too much or you're talking too long. Everybody's gonna have an opinion. My advice is to sit back, watch the show and enjoy it. Quit trying to direct it." Well, it's obviously the WWE's ambassador is gonna defend the show, but we're wondering if he actually watches it considering his busy schedule in Hollywood, whether it's his Netflix series, The Big Show's show, or show's upcoming travel documentary. Next up, more on WWE banning AEW merchandise at shows. Yesterday, we reported that WWE aren't messing around when it comes to fans showing up in their competition's merchandise, specifically those fans who have seats on the hard camera or entranceway and can be easily seen. Well, if you were caught with any merchandise on, you risked being kicked out of the arena by WWE security. But a fan shed some more light, as even if you held up an AEW sign or put on an AEW t-shirt, you would be thrown out of the arena. Another fan had merchandise on, but was only allowed in when he covered the shirt up with a sweater. Now in our opinion, whether WWE regards AEW as a pissant company is besides the point. Regardless of who they are, why would you want to give your competition free publicity and make themselves open to be mocked? WWE has a point, but then again during the Attitude Era, there were many WCW and WWE signs in both companies. Eric Bischoff even held up a sign saying Raw fears ratings. Not to mention Vince fears Ted Turner. And our last story of today, CM Punk is open to a return, but is he talking out of both sides of his mouth? Although the saying never say never is apropos for professional wrestling, disgruntled grappler CM Punk seemed like the exception to the rule. Punk has been resolute about not wrestling ever since his disagreeable departure from the WWE. However, in a recent appearance on Barstool Sports' My Mom's Basement, Punk seems to be revising history. Absolutely, for 5 years I've always been asked that question. No matter what I say, it gets reduced to clickbait and it gets warped. I've gone through so many iterations of people saying, "Oh, Punk hates wrestling." None of that was ever the case. I think I've always been open to it. My attitude has always been that I don't see it happening. I think I've talked about it more recently, but my attitude hasn't changed. People always ask what it would take to go back, and I say it would take a big bag, so people use their imaginations. As for the WWE, the subject of Punk arose during Triple H's appearance on the Ariel Helwani show. When asked if Punk might return, Mr. Stephanie McMahon answered, "That's a could be. Vince will say it all the time. We're open for business. The past is the past, today is today, and you never say never in WWE." But even though both promotions have rumored to have approached Punk for a return and have both been turned down, Punk mentioned that both companies have still made a profit off rumors. He went on to mention, I actually think both companies, WWE and AEW, have used the fact that I've been whatever about it to kind of rope people in every now and again, to make people think I'm coming back on a specific show at a specific time. Whenever a mystery opponent is announced, they'll think it is CM Punk. There's nothing wrong with them trying to do that. They texted me secondhand an offer, and I was like, real offers only, please. This is the type of situation very few people are going to know exactly what is going on with Punk in the WWE unless he shows up on WWE television. At that point, everyone will claim to have predicted the story, but it seems that he's not working on WWE backstage, as according to the latest rumor, it looks like CM Punk won't be working on WWE backstage. Punk auditioned for a role on the FS1 talk show, but according to Fightful Select, Punk's tryout went well and he impressed the backstage team, but it was left in the hands of higher-ups at Fox that seemed like they'd moved on as recently this week. Nothing is concrete in that regard though. But there you have it guys, your latest wrestling news for today. Do you think CM Punk will ever return to the WWE? What will it take? A main event match at WrestleMania? A big bag load of cash? Full creative control? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.